there, this is Carrie from Stamp with CT. Good morning and happy Wednesday. It is already August 31st, y'all. This month is over for all intents and purposes, isn't it? So, lots of exciting things going on. I'm going to wait just a minute to give Facebook a second to send out some notifications that we are live and that we're here to craft and connect this morning. So if you hop in live, I hope you'll say hello. Good morning, Judy. Good morning. Wait just a second. So, like I said, this is Carrie from Stamp with CT. What I haven't said in a while is that I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I live in Texas. Morning, Donna. So I love that I have some loyal viewers and followers that meet me here every week. But I have also noticed that we're having more and more people join us that don't live local to me. So I just thought I would let you know that I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I've been a demonstrator for 9.5 years, and I absolutely love it. So initially I joined just for the discount on grid paper and dimensionals, and then after a couple years I started holding classes, and everything I did was in person up until the pandemic. And then we went we went virtual. That's just the way it was. And now we've opened back up and we're able to do more in person. And we're really doing both. So kind of have a hybrid business now where we do both in person and virtual classes and events. So I'm just excited that it really includes more crafty friends this way. And honestly, before the pandemic, I knew I needed to do some virtual things, but I was a little bit of a chicken. So it really pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and I'm glad that it did. So we are going to do a little bit of crafting this morning, and then I have some announcements at the end of the video. So I hope you'll stick around for that. I was really hoping to be able to pull this up on my iPad where I could see comments, and of course that's not working this morning. So we'll just go with it. So as I'm crafting, I'm not going to be able to see your comments, but I still hope that you will comment. Let me know when you pop in. And if you're watching the replay, you're on the replay crew, just know that I appreciate you being here as well. Hope you'll say hello. Just type in replay so I know that you stopped by. So we are making a cute Halloween card today. I think that's what I promised at the end of the last video. But this is kind of what popped into my head a couple nights ago. Y'all know I should be sleeping and crafting ideas come into my head. So I wanted to do something a little bit different where I had the little boots for the witch and the hat on the card, but I punched out to where the boots are on the inside, stamped on the inside too. So this card I made using Balmy Blue. So it just has a touch of Balmy Blue on the image, using the Stampin' Blend markers, color the little socks and the dots on the hat, and then I had this cute Balmy Blue ribbon. So that's what I did for the first project. And it may not pick up, but I have some little Balmy Blue stars, and I'll show you how we can create our own embellishment, which is exactly what I did there. And then I also stamped the envelope. So just wanted to remind you that our envelopes, our medium envelopes, come in vanilla and white, and they are awesome quality, and you can stamp on them as well. So don't forget to do that and decorate your envelopes. So let's get started recreating this project, but we are going to actually use pumpkin pie as our color for this next one. So I thought I'd show you how I figured out where to stamp on the inside, just kind of the way my thought process worked. I know we're all a little bit different, and so if you have a different idea how to do this, I would love it if you shared. But what I did was just went ahead and cut the circle that I knew was big enough to fit the little witch's boots in when I stamped so that it would show through. And then I took my white panel and put it inside, didn't adhere it, just put it inside so that I could get it lined up, closed that up, and then I just took a pencil and went around the circle because I know that I can erase that later. And then I used my Stamparatus because I wanted these boots to be really nice and dark. And so, although it looks great when you just stamp it using a block, when I use the Stamparatus, I'm able to stamp it twice and put that ink right over top of the first layer, and it really makes those boots nice and dark. So that's what I wanted to do. So I brought it over to my Stamparatus, and we'll go ahead and do that here in just a second and stamp. And I just popped it in at the corner, and that way as I stamped, I was able to get those boots, ink it back up, stamp it again. So that's what we're gonna do. And then I can just come in and I can erase that pencil mark, and then I have perfect placement. So the other nice thing about doing it this way is if I were making multiples, now I have kind of a template. I know exactly where that needs to be. I can measure the cutting on the card base, and I can just make multiples so quickly that way. So let's go ahead and put our cardstock, our inside panel, into the Stamparatus. And even though it's up in the corner, I'm still gonna put my magnets on so it holds it nice and tight. And I do have the spider and the witch's boots, both stamps on here. So I can actually go ahead, and it does work best if you have a stamp case underneath to kind of prop that up. Let me put my chamois box under there to give it just a little bit more stability. As I'm inking this up, we'll ink up our little spider as well, just using Memento Tuxedo black ink. And because this is a red rubber stamp, I don't need any cushioning on my Stamparatus. I'm going to get a really nice image. So just like with stamping with a block, you still want to put a little pressure. You want to give that ink time to transfer over. And like I said, that looks good, but we're going to even step it up a notch. And we're going to ink these up again. We'll have a nice dark spider as well. And we're going to stamp again. Now because it's in the Stamparatus positioning tool, it's going to stamp in the exact same spot and just give us such a nice dark black for the boots and the spider. Now I took a chamois, and this one looks pretty rough, but believe me, it's clean. It's just stained and it works perfectly fine. Took a chamois and I cut it into quarters. So I am actually able to use this one on my Stamparatus really easily. Now you can cut them in half, you can cut them in strips, whatever you like to do, or just use it whole. But that chamois just has some water, and I'm able to clean my stamp off. Now because that has a couple layers of ink, it may take just a second to dry. So let's set this aside. And then we'll go ahead and also stamp our witch's hat. And this time I'm just using the block. I still want to make sure that I ink the stamp up really well, because you'll see in a minute I'm using a different hat. This is a pretty bold image. Again, putting some pressure, holding it for about 5 seconds so that that ink has time to transfer. And again, got a nice image there. So we'll let that dry for just a second. And let me put this stamp on my chamois so I don't end up with a mess. Let that dry. Now this card, I wanted to use pumpkin pie. So let me show you a couple things that I'm going to be using for this project. I've got the light and the dark pumpkin pie Stampin blends. So these are our alcohol markers, and they come in a 2-pack, a light and a dark. Then I'm going to be using the Witch Hat Builder Punch. I am also using, of course, the Bewitching Stamp Set. And then I've shown you this before. Dale made this little visual with what the punches out. So you've got the hat, which we could have certainly used a punched out hat, stars, and then also the band for the hat. So that gives you so many options. You can just have so much fun with this, or you can stamp like we're doing today and just do it that way and punch it out. I'm using the Gingham Cottahe Designer Series paper, and this is one of those stacks of paper. It's 12 by 12, but it's 48 sheets of paper. So there are 12 designs, and there's 4 sheets of each paper. Now I'm going to be using this for a couple of different events that are coming up, one of which is team meeting, and I'll tell you about some of the other. But look at all those beautiful colors. So if you love gingham like I do, this is a beautiful paper stack. And it would be great if you're making multiple cards because there's so much of it in the package. So over on page 58 of the mini catalog, you have the Gingham Cottahe Suite Collection. So all of the products in this suite. There's some beautiful samples, and then here are the products available. Now I have this on order, and I'll tell you in a little bit. Stick around to the end and I'll tell you when we're going to be using this stamp set in an event, but it is really pretty. These are actually where you can kind of make your own embellishment, so we'll see how that goes. When I get them, I'll do a little bit of experimenting, and I'll get back with you on that. So something a little bit different, but I'll tell you a little more in just a minute about that. And then last, I'm using the Real Red and White Glimmer paper. So this is a little 6x6 pack, also in the mini catalog. And you can see the beautiful shine. We love shiny. So I'm just using a little bit of this white glimmer paper. You get 4 sheets of each, the real red and the white. So I'll show you how I'm using this. It's a fun technique that we're going to be doing with that glimmer paper. Okay, let's bring in, I think I'm going to go with the light pumpkin pie to color her socks. And I'm just going to brush on a tiny bit of color. You should not be able to really hear me coloring. I'm using a really light touch. Sometimes when I watch videos, I hear the kind of squeaking when people are coloring, and I personally think you're pushing a little bit too hard if that's the case. So that's all I'm going to do there. And then I'm going to come, oops, didn't mean to do that, and just add a tiny bit of color to the buckle as well. A little bit of pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is a color that I typically just pick up as far as cardstock and ink and blends at Halloween and fall. Then we're also going to color the little band of the hat. And just adding a bit of color, kind of flicking that marker across the cardstock. That is how I was taught to use alcohol markers. And just using the light pumpkin pie. And I can always come back in and add more. Now, this is thick basic white, so it's not really coming through on my work surface. This is regular. I guess it's thick as well. With just plain basic white cardstock, it may bleed through, so don't forget to protect your work surface if you need to. And then I'm going to add some dark pumpkin pie to the buckle. this is a pretty forgiving image for me, because I am not the best at coloring. But I thought this just added a little something to have that color added. Now you could certainly stamp this on colored cardstock as well if you don't want to color. You could use Stampin' Right markers or classic ink markers. There's lots of different ways that you could get that color on, right? Now we're going to put this into our punch. Let me see if I can get everything lined up. And I think that looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and punch. And of course I get all kinds of little bits. Let me get them out of the way. Those little stars. So typically I'll use strips of paper. I really probably should have done that, but that's okay. Okay, so we've got components ready here. Set that aside. Let's go ahead and work on our card base right quick. So here I've already run this through. Let me put the white underneath so you can see I've run this through. And for my sample card, I adhered the designer series paper on the front and ran it through, but I wanted to show you, that this has the hole in the front so that that element shows through to the front, the little boots. So I didn't adhere this one before I ran it through, but we're going to be able to just add this to the front of our card. It'll take me just a second to get everything lined up the way it needs to be, and I did use the Stylish Shapes dies, which has the stitching on it, so that may not show up super well on camera, but it adds just a tiny bit of interest there. Okay. And now we are ready to add our inside panel, I believe. I love that little spider. Super, super cute. I'm gonna turn it upside down just so that I get the positioning right. And I know that some of you have this stamp set and punch, so I hope that you will give this a try. I always try to make projects that you can recreate in your craft room. That always makes me happy to hopefully inspire you in that way. Oh my goodness, so cute. Even just that is pretty cute, isn't it? Okay, we'll let that dry for a second. We're gonna bring our little hat in like that. And what I did there, because it does overhang the circle, is I just took some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I know I got some out. Y'all know I love my dimensionals, and I always use them. Where did I put them? There they are. So I just took a dimensional or two. Once I got my positioning here of where I want my hat, just right there at the little boots. So up here towards the top of the hat, I'll put a couple of dimensionals. And they're strong. They're going to hold that on just fine. And then again, we'll get our positioning lined up. And that should not have closed our, adhered our card shut. So there we go. Now, I have some ribbon, and there's not a pumpkin pie ribbon in the catalog. And I thought about coloring some ribbon, but then I found this pale papaya open weave ribbon carried over from last year's catalog, and I thought that would be really cute. So that's what we're going to use. It's pretty close. Just kind of looks like a little bit more of a pale orange, since there's some other orange on the card. I'm actually going to try to tie the bow right on here. See if my hands will cooperate today. Woohoo! Living right, y'all. That actually went very well. Get my tails. I like to pull the tails up together when I snip. That just works well for me so that I know the tails are about the same length. And this way too, I can move that bow over if I need to. And I can pull it up just a tiny bit. Okay. Looks pretty cute, y'all. I like it. So you may notice that the gingham print is a little different. I just flipped that over. So that's the A and the B side of that paper. So you'll have to tell me, do you prefer the smaller print or the larger print? I can't decide. So now let me show you that I do have some little embellishments here, and I will confess, this strip was added because I smudged the black ink. I didn't let it dry long enough, so that's just covering a little stamping sin right there, but I thought it ended up looking really cute. So now I'm just going to add a couple of little embellishments, and the way that we're going to do that, well, first of all, I have to find my silicone craft sheet. Ooh, and it's a mess. Sorry, y'all. And I've got just a 1-inch strip of that glimmer paper that I showed you. And I'm going to take my pumpkin pie blend, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use the dark pumpkin pie. And I want the broad tip, so I know by looking at this that this is the broad tip, this is the fine tip. And I'm just going to come in very gently on this glimmer paper so that I don't damage the tip of my marker. And I'm going to add some pumpkin pie. And I learned when I made my balmy blue card that I wanted a little bit more color. Those balmy blue stars don't show up super well. So I did want just a little bit more color for the pumpkin pie, so I used the dark pumpkin pie. So I'm just adding that at the end. Oops. Did you know that you can do that? It's going to make some really cute little embellishments, y'all. So we're going to again bring in our witch hat builder punch, and down this side we have the stars. If I can get it lined up, sorry y'all. We have these stars. Put that in and punch those out. So that is going to give me my little orange stars that I can add as an embellishment. That's some just little bits that will get out of the way. So that's going to add a little bit of shine and also a little bit of color. So let me see here. I'll grab my take your pick tool, and I'm hoping that that putty end will work okay. Oops. And I think I lost a star. I'm going to add a star right here. Just putting a little dot of glue. Yeah, I was afraid of that. That's not going to pick up very well with the glimmer paper. I'll just pop it on myself. And I think right over here, so we've got that nice white space. I'll pop this one on. And in my sample, I went ahead and added some to the inside. I've lost a star though, y'all. They're little bitty. I may even go ahead and punch out a few more once the video's over. But on this one, I did put some on the inside as well. So, okay, let's do one more thing. Let's decorate up our envelope just a bit. I'm going to add just a strip of Designer Series paper along this side. And with it just being a small strip, maybe about 3/4 of an inch or so, I still have plenty of room to add my address, or I can put my address on the back. You do want to make sure that you add plenty of adhesive when you do this so that as it runs through the postal machine, it doesn't get eaten. You don't want it to get stuck in the machine. Those machines are already rough enough on our projects, aren't they? Okay, where did I put my snips? Sorry, I'm making so much noise. And then I'll just come across and snip that off. So now, again, I have a cute little envelope that matches my project. So here I stamped one, here I used the designer series paper. Let me know which one is your favorite. So balmy blue or pumpkin pie. I really like both of them. Okay, let's talk about some things that we have going on, and then I also, oops, just dropped the prize. I also have a prize to give away today. So I'm going to give you a little heads up. Tomorrow is September the 1st, and Stampin' Up! Told us yesterday that we will be having some weekly deals. Every week in September, there will be some different weekly deals. So products from the catalogs that are going to be discounted. So I'll be posting that. And if you're not on my email list, you may want to message me your email so I can add you there, because I'll send those out through email as well. This month we have Cardstock Club, and you just need to sign up by the 15th. We have Paper Pumpkin Club, that's also on the 15th. And so if you're local to me, you can bring your paper pumpkin kit and we put it together. We have a light snack or dinner. We just have a lot of fun crafting together, spending a couple hours together. So you can check out the events tab on my Facebook page for all the details of these events. We have stamp class on the 17th. It's scary cute. So I have it all designed. We're making 2 treat holders and 2 cards. So you're gonna love these projects. We're making a bag-a-lope. So if you don't know what a bag-a-lope is, it's an envelope that you turn into a bag, and we're making it into a treat bag. So much fun. They're addicting. And so we are going to be making those 4 projects in stamp class. So you still have plenty of time to register for that. And all you have to do is either place a minimum order, or it's $20, and it's free if you place an order in September for stamp class. I just send you the packet and you make the projects right along with me. Or you can come, if you're local, you can come and create with us right here in my home. We also have an event October 1st. It's called World Card Making Day, and it is a day to celebrate our wonderful hobby. So I have posted an event for that. That day is going to be entirely free. If you are local to me, from 10 to 3, we're going to be doing something called Craft and Share. So you just need to let me know that you want to come so I can reserve a space for you. I'm going to have limited space available for the in-person portion. But I will provide a couple of make and takes. Dale and I will provide lunch, and I'll have a couple of door prizes. What you will bring is supplies to create that day. So it's kind of like a crop where we just get together and craft together. I am also partnering with a local organization so that we will be able to donate some cards and help out our community. So I'm still working on that, but that's the share portion. So we'll craft together, and then if you want to share some cards with a local organization, you can. And then Stampin' Up! Is hosting an event in our time zone. It'll be 3 to 6 p.m. and they're calling it Craft Along. So we are actually going to be using the Gingham Cottahe suite, definitely the stamp set and dies for one of the projects. They've kind of given us a heads up, but we're actually going to create projects that Stampin' Up! Shares with us. So it's going to be a really fun event. I think we're making 3 projects that day. And so I am still figuring out how everything's going to work, but we're going to make it such a fun day. So if you want to come from 10 to 6, if you're local, that would be wonderful. Again, everything is free that day. Just bring your supplies and bring a snack to share and come ready to have some fun. If you're not local, or if you can't come in the morning, you can always join the Craft Along with Stampin' Up! From your home or mine, and it's going to be a virtual event, and just some inspiration and some fun crafting together. Okay, let me think if there's anything else. I don't think so. Oh, celebration. Today is the last day to participate and receive a free gift from Stampin' Up! With a $50 order. And there's no limit to the number of celebration items you redeem for, so you can get as many free gifts as you want with each $50 purchase. So let me know if you have any questions about that. I hate for you to miss out on these awesome free gifts. So if you have an order ready and you need some help, let me know. Otherwise, you can shop at stampwithct.stampinup.net. I'm going to move these projects over. I don't have any Happy Mail this week. And I just realized I forgot to pull a name. Oh my goodness. I'll announce the winner on my Facebook page. Forgot to pull a name for the prize, but it is a roll of linen thread, a bolt of linen thread. That's our prize from last week. And the lucky winner will have left a comment. Oh goodness, y'all. So I will post that and you'll see who the winner is. But each week I like to do a little something to thank you for helping me in my business. And the way that you help me is by watching the video, sharing the video, leaving a comment or a reaction. So when you leave a heart or a thumbs up, that really helps me. And I appreciate y'all so much for doing that. Hope I provide you a little bit of inspiration. So if you'll hit that thumbs up or heart, that means a lot to me. But that also enters you for a chance to win the prize. So this week I have a bolt of the glittered ribbon. And this is a really fun ribbon. I almost used it on this project. And then I decided to do the stars instead. So I'll post the winner. Sorry guys. One day I'll get everything together. Maybe. If you know me, you know that's probably not true, but I'm trying. Well, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I'm so excited it's September. And I do have a question for you before I go. I hope you'll pop your answer in the comments. Yesterday at work, it has already started, y'all. It is just the end of August, and Starbucks announced their pumpkin spice cold brew. So if you are a pumpkin spice lover, please put a 1 in the comments. If you say no thanks to pumpkin spice, put a 2. I'm excited to see whether I have a lot of pumpkin spice lovers that watch or not, but it has already started at work, y'all. They were just clamoring for pumpkin spice cold brew. And apparently fall is here, even though it's August. So let me know if you like pumpkin spice or not. Let me know which project is your favorite. And I appreciate again that you were here watching today. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.